So we got to send a huge shout out to all of our race volunteers. They've done an unbelievable job the last couple of days putting this race course together for us. Kilometer after kilometer of that red fencing, we call that B-netting. That goes from top to bottom, a minimum of 1 row on each side. Many places there's 3 rows of it. That's the protection for the athletes. They've been put in place with their safety in mind. So that goes all the way from the top of the downhill right down here to the finish. You can carry a roll, but they're still pretty heavy. Put a pair of skis on, roll a B-net on your shoulder, and try and maneuver down an icy track. I'll tell you, that's a workout. You can ask Jackie what that's about. All right, take a look. We got skier coming at us right now. Watanabe from Japan, our first forerunner. Thank you. Now is the standard operating case. We don't have times for our forerunners, so we'll just have them come down. So there's a 60-second gap between Watanabe's start and our second skier for our forerunner. That should be Gina Norton. So if you look up to the left of the Jumbotron, it says forerunners on course. Here we go. We got one of our young Canadians, Gina Norton. So we put the forerunners on course so that they can test the track. We can test the timing. We can test the broadcast feed, make sure all cameras are working, and all of that stuff. So that's they perform a couple of very, very valuable roles for us, and we want to thank them for getting out. Plus, it gives them an opportunity to get out and ski some speed. They all love that very much. We should see Invermere's Keegan Sharp on course next. Here he comes. That is awesome, you guys and girls. Get your cheering lungs going. Yeah. All right, I think we got our final forerunner on course from the Wind River Valley Ski Club right here in the valley. We've got Courtney Hoffus coming at us next. Here she comes. All right, she's grabbed her bullet. She's going fast. Here she comes. Just checking with Keegan Sharp. Of course, is running way faster today than yesterday, so that bodes well for the race. Good to see some fast skiing coming at us right now. Slip crew on course, so get rid of those forerunners tracks. And we will be right back with the ladies' visual impaired category, starting off with Danelle Umstead, guide Robert Umstead, followed by Melissa Perrin, her guide Andrew Bohr, and finishing that category off with Alexandra Franceva, her guide Semen Pliaskin. US, Australia, and Russia. Starting it off today, we're skiing some speed here at Panorama Resort We've got 57 skiers on the start list this morning. As I mentioned, Jean-Sebastien was our course setter. Jean-Sebastien Aubry. So CBC is live streaming this right now. We've got Josh Duick down in the media center, and he'll be tweeting like crazy and running with the stream, doing our play-by-play for the folks that are watching us all over the world. Yeah, you guys can make some noise. Say hi to all the people that are watching from everywhere. Just watching the clock over to the left of the Jumbotron. 10:57 and 30 seconds. 11 o'clock is go time. Well, you got to be awfully happy with how the resort is showing this beautiful morning. Cameras lined all the way up the course. Look at that, that's the beginner area. I bet there's no ski racing going on over there. So our IPC technical delegate for this series of races will be the US's Bill Hicks. Our race director, Jordi Carbonell from Spain. Tony McAllister out of the US will be assistant referee. Chief of race, Brad Surwa. Start referee, Sandy House. Finish referee right over there, Terry Surwa. There's the girl right there. Otherwise known as Kelsey's mom. Dusan Kafka is chief of timing, and our chief of gate judges, Donna Briggs. And I know we've got well over 110 volunteers out there lining the course, working in the office. Take a look at that Jumbotron. We got ski racing coming at us right now. So you see Rob Umstead in front of Danelle, his wife. The visually impaired category, they use a variety of different techniques depending on the visual capability of the skier. Sometimes just the shape of the skier in front of them is sufficient. Other times, most of the ski teams are using headsets to communicate, brightly colored clothing on the guide, and sometimes they'll use loudspeakers. I know one of the teams will, I think it's the Russians, actually have a loud hailer that they use. So that's basketball. That's right at the top of Old Timer. They made a big, long, sweeping right-hand turn as they came around the bottom of the champagne chair load area. They'll be coming by Coach's Corner in just a second. And then right into our view. Here they come from the United States, our first team in the visually impaired category. Danielle Umstead and her guide, Rob Umstead. First skiers on the track. Tightening up the form a little bit now. All right, Rob's telling his girl right now, 2 gates to go. Grab your bullet, girl. Let's go for speed. Here they come. Let's bring them across the line. Danielle Umstead in with a time of 1:10:58. Woo! All right. Okay, I just got a scolding from national team member. Kimberly joins. I was too noisy. It's visually impaired. They need to communicate. My bad. Are they still allowed to cheer? I'll be quiet, but what about them? Okay. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, Kimberly. Okay, now we can make some noise. There they are from Australia, Melissa Perrin, Andrew Bohr, her guide. Okay, that quiet and loud thing,
awesome.
That sucks.
It's gonna make my life so much easier.
We only have to do it for one more team.
Yeah.
Well, the men, but not for a while. This is all about girl power right now. From Russia, we've got Alexandra Frantseva and her guide, Semen Plyatskin. They are on course right now. You see Semen's got that brightly colored top on. Awesome camera coverage. As we get a little further on into today's race, the sun is going to move across the horizon and should light even more of the course. Here they come. They're past Coach's Corner. And there you have the team from Russia. Skier Alexandra Frantseva, her guide Semen Plyatskin. Their time 1:51:57. All right, good skiing from the Russians. So we're going to have a little bit of a break right now. Course crew will come out, do a little slip, and we will be at you with our next category. Women's standing will be next. And that group will be led off by Germany's Andrea Rothfuss, followed by Russia's Maria Papulova, Inga Medvedeva, both from Russia, the Netherlands, Anna Jochimsen, Marie Bochette from France. And two from the US, we've got Steph Jalen and Melanie Schwartz, followed by our Canadians, Alana Ramsey ski in 11th, and Erin Latimer in 12th, Finishing things off, we'll have Laura Villanu. Could I please have a representative from the Matthias Lanziger fan club? Ten skiers in our next division, that's the women's standing category. Just a couple of minutes in between each one of our divisions to ensure that the course is prepped and ready. Once again, we want to thank everybody for coming out and joining us here at the finish line. It's great to have this kind of fan support for all of the athletes here at this year's IPC World Championships at Panorama Resort. We have Andrea Rothfuss from Germany on course right now. Andrea has been here with her team on several different occasions. We had the World Cup test event for the downhill portion of this year's IPC World Championships. That happened last year. And a year or so prior to that, we had the World Cup finals here. So many of the athletes having had an opportunity to ski the better part of the track. The downhill portion new as of last year, and very, very favorable reports coming from both the athletes and the coaching staff of all nations participating in this year's IPC Worlds. Andrea down the tuck, that big long traverse as she passes over basketball and starts her way down the old-timer run here at Panorama. All right, Andrea should be coming into view any second. Here she comes. Let's make some noise at the finish line for Germany's Andrea Rothfuss. She's laying down a fast one. We'll check her time. 1K from the finish. And she is through as the first lady in the standing division with a time 1:36.83 seconds. Now the track should get a little quicker as we move through the first 20 or 25 skiers. Push whatever loose snow is out there off the track. You'll notice that we've got side slippers that drip through. After every couple of skiers, we'll have our next competitor on course right now. This will be Russia's Maria Populova. I know for sure these skiers in training were up over 100 kilometers an hour in the fast section of the course. I bet they're going even faster today. Let's bring our second skier in the ladies standing category from Russia, Maria Populova, to the finish line. The time for Populova from Russia, 1:42.12. See the skiers on the track right now, part of our slip crew. Want to thank those guys and girls very, very much for the hard work they do out there. Getting rid of the ski tracks from the previous racer. Trying to keep the line clean and fast for each and every one of our athletes. Our second Russian of this group, the third of the morning, Inga Medvedeva. Currently on course. Again, this is the women's standing category. Long turn, here she comes. Last couple of gates before the finish. Let's make some noise, Canada. Great run for Medvedeva. Her time, 1:45.40. Our next skier on course from the Netherlands, this is Anna Jochimsen. Interesting, of course, the Netherlands not known as a huge alpine skiing country. So exceptional that we have this young lady joining us here on the circuit for the World Championships. Anna Jochimsen from the Netherlands. Laying out some fine arcs the last couple of turns, headed towards the finish line. Here she comes, Anna Jochimsen. 1:44.75 seconds. Marie Bochette from France is our next skier on course. As I mentioned a little bit early on, many of these skiers having had an opportunity to race here at Panorama Resort in the last couple of years. Bochette on the line. 1:32.81 seconds for Marie. All right, that was fast. Okay, we've got two girls coming back-to-back from the United States. We'll kick it off with Stephanie Jallin, followed by her teammate, Melanie Schwartz. Those are skiers 9 and 10. Then skier number 11, our first Canadian. I have to shout it out for both skier number 11, Alana Ramsey, and her teammate, Erin Latimer. They'll be going 11 and 12 respectively. And wrapping up the women's standing category with Romania's Laura Velenu. This will be Steph Schwartz on course right now. Got a little bit inside. Stephanie Schwartz has gone down. Just that one move. Moving over to the left. We do know that there are some slick sections. She did stay on the course. So let's find out. Popped up. Yeah, I didn't look like it was too serious.
Tip it up, tip it up. Front down, front down.
Watch this. She's going to move onto that left edge.
Just into the front. You're fine.
A little bit tricky coming in out of the sun into the shade. And talking to the course workers, there are a couple of very, very slick sections on our course. It's okay, it's going to be the same for everyone. Panorama Resort Patrol checking on her. She seems to be okay, maybe a little bruised pride is all. Our next American on the course, Melanie Schwartz. It's a beautiful long shot from our camera. Those of you folks that are familiar with Panorama Resort, the start of today's downhill is right at the junction of Skyline and Roller Coaster, where the tree island starts. We removed a lot of trees here about 2 years ago in anticipation of the World Championships. Open up the line, allow the skiers to ski clean and fast through some sections that were previously a little bit difficult to negotiate due to the number of trees.
Thanks.
Forcing them to stay over on one side of the line or the other. Now they have the opportunity to swing from side to side, utilizing both roller coaster and Skyline. Canada's coming next. In the start, we got Alana Ramsey. She'll be coming at us in just a short while. In the meantime, the United States, Melanie Schwartz on course. She's 2 gates from the finish. Sorry, that's Alana right there. National team members sporting brand new speed suits for the World Championships. Standing here with Matt Hallett from the national team. He's going to be joining me when the guys get rolling in just a few minutes, but he was mentioning that the national team suits are designed by Audi. They did a pretty good job on the cars. I think the suits look good too. On course next, our second Canadian. We've got Aaron Latimer coming at you. Come on, Canada, let's make some noise. Let's bring the girl home. Latimer's time for her downhill run today, 146.14. Laura Velanu from Romania will be our final skier in the women's standing category. And then we'll move to women's sitting. So all the skiers you see today have had at least 2 training runs on the course. And the conditions seem to have changed a little bit from the first training day to the second, which was yesterday. And it looks to me like today is pretty much the same as yesterday, as Velanu seems to have gone down. So she seems to be just fine moving off to the side of the course.
Is it out yet?
She will not complete her downhill run today, which moves us to the final category in the women's. That is sitting. Anna Schaffelhuber from Germany will start in the 14th position, followed by the United States' Lori Stevens, Claudia Lausch from Austria, and the Japanese skier Momoka Murakoka. Course workers doing a little bit of repair. Side slip in the line, getting rid of those previous marks left by the skiers. And we will see a little bit of a delay in between each one of our categories. Want to remind everybody that at 3:30 this afternoon, we hope you can all hang around. We'll have the awards ceremony for today's downhill portion of this year's IPC World Championships here at Panorama. That'll happen right in front of the Day Lodge. We'd love to have you come and join you. Come and check things out. Make some noise for the top 3 skiers in today's men's and women's downhill. Laura Velanu from Romania coming across beside the finish line. She seems to be doing just fine.
How's everyone doing today?
Couple thumbs up.
Excellent.
But that's winter. This, like, you can't ride your motorcycle, you can't sit on ski winter, sucks.
All right, we are in with our next category, the final category on the ladies' side, women's sitting. Anna Schaffelhuber from Germany on course. Only 4 ladies competing in this sitting category in today's downhill portion of the IPC World Championships. Schaffelhuber from Germany on course right now. She will be followed by the United States' Lori Stevens, Austria's Claudia Lausch, and Mamoka Muroka from Japan. Incredible the technology that's gone into the sit skis. The level of suspension is huge right now. It can still be a little bit of an unruly thing to control if you end up with a lot of washboards on the track. Talked to Josh Duick about that this morning during inspection, and he'd gone through some sections that gave him problems the last time we ran a World Cup here, and he said the track is very, very smooth, very fast. That shouldn't pose a problem for these athletes. Anna Schaffelhuber from Germany. Last couple of turns before the finish line here on the old-timer track at Panorama. Clean run for Anna. Her finish time, 1:38.06.
Thank you.
Next skier on course on the ladies sitting category, Lori Stevens from the United States. Lori will be followed by Austria's Claudia Lesch and Momoka Muraoka from Japan. Here she comes on the line from the United States, Lori Stevens. Our second competitor in the women's sitting category. Her race time for the downhill portion of this week's events here at Panorama. So it'll be just a second or so before we get the time for Lori. In the meantime, we've got Austria's Claudia Lesch on course. Third of four skiers in the women's sitting division.
Where's the graphic go?
Very, very clean turns by Claudia. Arcing that ski. She's got the hammer down for the finish line. Here she comes. From Austria, Claudia Lesch. 1:33.29.
Okay. Which place is it?
That puts Claudia in first place. Yeah.
Yeah! Yeah! Woo!
One skier left. Momoka Muraoka from Japan. She's on course right now. You take a look at the Jumbotron. Course conditions could not be better for speed today, folks. This is what the athletes dream of, having an opportunity to race in. Blue sky, sunshine, and a rock and roll track. Here comes Japan's Momoka Muraoka. One gate to go, and here's the finish line. 1:35.95 for Momoka. So unofficially, as we wait for the time for the United States, Lori Stevens, we have Momoka Muraoka in third place, Anna Schaffelhuber in second, and Claudia Lesch in first position. Again, that's unofficial. Still waiting for the time for the United States, Lori Stevens. So we'll take a couple of minutes to do some coursework and get ready for the boys. Starting off with the men's visually impaired category. 7 duos competing in that particular category. Remember, each skier traveling with a guide.
Sorry, Brian.
check. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a big round of applause for national team member Matt Hallett joining me over here in the tent.
How's everybody doing today? It's a beautiful day for downhill.
So, Matt, you're going to be racing a little bit later on in the week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be racing tomorrow in Super G, Super Combine on Saturday, and slalom on the last day.
There you go. So Matt's got a little bit of knowledge about what it takes to be a ski racer on the Panorama track. He's had a chance to train here for a number of years. He's also raced not only in the World Cup race we had last year, but the World Cup finals 2 years prior to that. So I'm going to draw on his experience as we move into the men's side and get his take on what it's like to rock and roll down the downhill here at Panorama.
Drew, I think it's a great day for the blind guys. I think that the light is amazing, and from everything we hear, the snow conditions are just perfect. So I think you're going to see a really good race in the next 6 or 8 guys here.
Excellent. Yeah, talking with our course workers, there are some icy patches, but that's the same for everybody, and they've been there since the first training run, so there shouldn't be any surprises. As Matt just mentioned, the visibility is perfect right now. Our first duo coming at us will be from Russia. Will be racer Ivan Frantsev with his guide German Agranovsky. Following them will be our Canadians. Starting 19th will be Mac Marcoux, his guide and brother BJ. So you know those boys a little bit. Matt, tell us about the Marcoux brothers as our first skiers hit the start.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're very excited to go today. Max had a bit of a rough week, but downhill training, is really fast. So I think they're looking for big things today. And yeah, we're going to get our first look here at if the track is a little bit faster, and that'll give us an indication.
Right, with Frantsev from Russia and his guide, Agranovsky, coming at us first. And the Marcoux brothers will be the second duo that comes out of the start gate. These guys are rocking. Wow. That's basketball. That's the top of the old-timer right now.
I can tell you, Drew, from the first training run, this is where your legs are really starting to burn. There's some big turns still to the finish and a bit of a jump here coming up. So we'll see what happens, see how these guys take it.
So we get asked on occasion, Matt, the blue dye that's laid down on the sides of the racetrack, are they allowed to go outside that?
Yeah, absolutely. Blue dye is just a guide, really, to help people.
Just give a little bit of definition and a little bit of guidelines. As our first team comes at us right now from Russia, we've got Ivan Frantsev and German Agranovsky. 1:32.53.
So that time's about a second faster than the fastest training run. So that's going to give you an indication. Speeds are up a little bit today, and yeah, it's something that these guys are going to have to adjust as they come down.
Speeds up. I bet the adrenaline levels probably cranked up there a notch or two as well.
Downhill day always brings a lot of emotions. So let's see it. Let's bring the Marcoux brothers down here. Come on, Canada.
Yeah, Canada, come on. Here come the boys. BJ, the guide in the front. Back and back.
Boys are looking good.
There you go. Whoa.
29.68 puts Mac into the lead. That's about 4 seconds faster than the fastest training run yet.
Boy, where'd they have that speed hiding all week? Marcoux brothers just laid down the gauntlet. All right, the Slovakian duo of Miroslav Harus and his partner guide, Maros Hudek, they've got some work to do. There they are, the Slovakians on the line. Miroslav Harus, his guide, Maros Hudek.
So that puts them into second place. Behind Marcoux and Frantsev, 1-2 right now.
Our next team is from Spain. Gabriel Gorce Yepes, skier and guide. Javier Ferrer Ventura. Spaniards across the finish line. Let's give it up for Gabriel Gorce Yepes, his partner Javier Ferrer Ventura. 135.73.
That currently puts them into fourth position.
All right, things looking pretty good for the Marcoux brothers, but there could be some trouble brewing right here from the United States. We've got perennial favorite Mark Batham, his guide, Cade Yamamoto.
Mark won yesterday's training run and is definitely a big threat in downhill.
That was a really nice turn through basketball.
They look like they're carrying some good speed for sure. Tough level there for Mark, but let's bring him home, Canada.
Mark Batham, guide Cade Yamamoto from the United States. Their race time in today's downhill, 1:31.89.
That puts Mark and Cade into second position behind Mac Marcoux and Ivan Frantsev. Pardon me, sorry, that puts Mark into second. Mac is still in the lead. And in third is Miroslav Haros.
Down to our final two competitors in the men's visually impaired category.
Jan is a veteran of the circuit, had many wins. Definitely somebody to watch.
This is Jan Santacana Metztegui and his guide, Miguel Galindo Garces.
Jan coming to the finish line.
All right, Spanish across the line. That's Jan Santacana, his guide, Miguel Galindo Garces. The time for Team Spain, 1:32.60. Juan currently in fifth spot with one team left to come. This will be the Czech team, Patrick Hetmer and Miroslav Mikala as the guide. Final pairing in the men's visually impaired category for today's downhill. So we'll see these skiers in just a couple of seconds on the bottom section of the course. Here they come. Our Czech team across the finish line. Let's give it up for Patrick Hetmer, his guide, Miroslav Mikala. Time for Team Czech, 1:36.08.
He had a big crash in training too.
So unofficial results. Third place from Slovakia, Miroslav Haros. Second place from the United States of America, Mark Batham. And in first place from Canada, Mac and BJ Marcoux.
Yeah, Canada! Marcoux brothers get the job done. Well, that's good news, isn't it now? Extra added incentive to join us this afternoon at 3:30 at the awards ceremony right in front of the day lodge here at Panorama Resort. I want to thank Matt Hallett for joining me here this morning. All right, this is a category that he is very familiar with. We're moving next to the men's standing.
Yeah, I'm very excited to watch this. The training runs have been super close. There's been 5 or 6 guys that are in there that have a chance today, and you're going to see one right off the bat with Alexei Bugaev, Thomas Phil, and then Marcus Sulcher, who won the first training run. So I'm really excited to see what these guys do today. They're going to take some risks, and there's going to be some high speeds. And then we have Kirk Shorenstein and Braden Luscombe from Canada. Kirk is going to go bib 28 and Braden number 37. But it's definitely not over till it's over. Bib 36, Matthias Lanzinger won yesterday's training run. And yeah, I think this is going to be really exciting.
This is a pretty deep field. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 competitors in men's standing. Once again, course crew out there doing their work, sliding things out.
Some more dye being put in the bottom there, Drew. I guess to finish answering your question from before, you can definitely go outside the blue lines. It's just a guideline to give you some perception. There's those lines also go across the track, which give you an idea of some of the terrain and some of the bumps along the way. It just helps the skiers with their perception of it coming at them, because it's coming at them very fast.
Yeah, even though it appears to be very smooth and flat on television, it tends to take a lot of the terrain out of the mix. So you'll also notice that they put some big S's and big swoops down here in the finish line that assists with the definition of the ground. And they'll also have cross hatches different places on the track just to help give the skiers some better definition.
Yeah, I ran the first training run, and what really caught me was there's some really big turns. There's 10 or 12 very high speed, very big turns that just take a lot out of your legs, really.
Looks like our first skier is on course. Alexei Bugayev from Russia. What do you know about Alexei?
Alexei was second last year in Sochi and down high, I believe. He's been dominating the season so far, so this is going to give us the yardstick that everybody else will be measured against.
He just drilled it coming out of the start gate. He was definitely fired up.
You're going to see Alexei take some chances for sure. He's going to give it everything he's got, and he's going to be carrying a lot of speed down here.
Oh yeah, he's grabbing his bullet every opportunity he has. By bullet, I mean tuck.
Definitely carrying some good speed. Legs are probably starting to feel a little bit right now, but it doesn't seem to be affecting me at all. He's definitely flying.
Nice flight for Bugayev. You can tell whether the skier's online and has the ski working by the lack of snow being sprayed. And Alexei is skiing a very, very clean race so far. Very little snow getting displaced. Last two turns, and here we go. Straight shot to the finish line for Russia's Alexei Bugayev. 1:27.60.
That is a couple seconds faster than the fastest training run, so the track is definitely fast today, and that's going to be a tough one to beat. We'll have to watch and see what happens. The next two guys for sure, Thomas Phil and Marcus Alcher, have been very good, and we got to see what happens here.
And this is the classic confrontation. We've got Switzerland versus Austria. Phil from Switzerland will be going first. He'll be followed by the Austrian Marcus Salter.
Looks like Thomas may have taken a tumble there. We'll wait and see. Hopefully he's okay in there. Looks like he just hipped out. There's a bit of a compression right there, and it just looks like it got the better of him, sliding into the snow. As you can see, the nets are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, absorbing him, slowing him down nicely.
Yeah, the reason that they've gone with this form of protection, this red B netting, and they set a couple of rows of it, is that the first one begins to slow the skier down. It's all about reducing the momentum without bringing them to a sudden stop. So that's why you'll see 2 and sometimes 3 rows in some of the high-speed corners. And it looks like Thomas managed to just, as Matt said, hip into it. But naturally, we're going to have a little bit of a delay while they attend to Thomas, make sure he's okay, and then reset those nets.
We got the Marcus Salchers fan club back here getting ready to go.
So we have heard word that Thomas feels okay. They're just checking him out, resetting that red netting, and we'll be ready to see what the Austrians got for us. These last 2 fields are very, very deep, approximately 17 competitors in each one.
Yeah, men's sitting has been incredible. The conditions for men's sitting right now is absolutely perfect. You can really see what the sit skis can do and what those guys can do under perfect conditions. It's very impressive in the big turns.
One of the things I've noticed, Matt, with the sit ski is the amount of pressure because for the most part, I think other than the French, everybody's on a monoski. And the amount of pressure that they can apply to that working edge is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's such big, stable skis, and the way the rigs work now, it's just amazing. And the fact that the conditions are the way they are with the hard snow really lets those guys trust the surface, and it's impressive to watch.
So the reason why Matt says the condition is so favorable, with it being hard, is the amount of force that they apply from the ski down to the snow will sometimes cause this softer snow to break down and create holes or ruts in the racetrack. The racetrack we got here at Panorama is not going anywhere. They can push as hard as they want. It's just going to push right back.
As a skier, that's really, I know as the public, they don't like it being icy, but as a racer, when you have that surface that you know you can put everything you got into it and it's not going to break away on you, it's actually a really comfortable feeling in a strange way, and it really lets you charge and accelerate.
So Matt's eyes are way better than mine, and he looked up at the Jumbotron, and the Jumbotron said there will be about a 10-minute delay. So I guess Thomas went into the bean netting with a little bit of vigor and took out everything. So it'll take our course crew just a little while to get things put back together, but he's just fine.
And that's totally just a safety precaution. They got to make sure they get that net back where it needs to be for the next person going in. It just takes a little bit of time. Yeah.
The thing with that red bean netting is it's not strung tight. It's actually loose. It's all about taking the momentum and the inertia out of the athlete as they impact the net.
It's pretty incredible what those nets actually do, and when you look at them, it's funny to watch some of the old videos of hay bales and things like that. What we have today, it's amazing how it absorbs, and it just keeps us safe out there.
Our camera crew is doing a great job of sending some fantastic footage out to the world. That's Panorama's new Discovery Zone, beginner-specific training area. And if you're down at the bottom of the Discovery Zone this afternoon at 3:30, it'll be filled with athletes and coaches and fans waiting for the awards ceremony for today's downhill. So we will be handing out bronze, silver, and gold medals for each one of our 3 categories. We'll start it off with the ladies visually impaired, then ladies standing category, and ladies sitting. And we'll do the same thing for the guys.
We're seeing the international flavor to the event. So far we have a gold medal for Canada, a gold medal for Austria, a gold medal for France, and a gold medal for Australia.
We're spreading the love around a little bit. That's excellent.
We got all the hemispheres covered.
Five minutes to the restart, folks.
Marcus is on course. From Austria, Marcus Sulcher.
Marcus Sulcher on course for Austria right now. Look at him go.
Marcus is looking real good. That was a couple of solid turns, keeping it real clean, carrying speed. Fan club's going crazy in the finish, still looking real good. Coming down, we can see him here.
All right, the Austrian Sulcher, 2 gates from the finish. Here he comes. Marcus Sulcher finishes with a time of 1:33.64 seconds.
Currently in second place. Next up from Canada, Kirk Shorenstein. Come on, Canada, let's make some noise.
That's right, Canada. On course, Canadian Kirk Shorenstein.
That was a pretty solid turn for Kirk coming through the triple and over basketball.
Oh, that Audi suit is fast, Matt. Look at that.
Kirk is keeping it clean. He's real familiar with the bottom part of the track. We've trained here many times. Come on, Kirk.
Come on, Canada, let's bring the boy home. Here comes Kirk. Shorenstein's time, 1:34.31.
That puts Kirk into third position currently. Next up from Russia, Alexander Alaviev. He's been about 6th and 7th in the training runs.
I think that yesterday was a pretty good indicator. Track is fairly similar. Visibility was excellent yesterday as well. And you know the athletes are going to straighten things out on race day. Try and cut the line off a little bit, grab the tuck a little bit sooner.
Definitely adrenaline is definitely up today, and you fight for it just that much more. There's so much more on the line. Alaviev is looking pretty clean coming over basketball.
As I mentioned before, if you just watch for snow spray, if the ski isn't kicking up any snow, you know they're skiing a clean carve, and that's fast.
Visibility looks great. There's a couple rules in that section that with flat light they're hard to see, but no problems today.
Alexander Alaviev from Russia across the line with a finish time of 1:33.34.
Currently, that puts Alaviev into second behind his teammate Alexei Bugaev, with Marcus Sulcher from Austria in third. The third and final Russian, Alexander Vetrov, should be on course.
So the two Alexes, we had Alaviev and following him, Vetrov, on course right now. Similarities in their style, Matt?
Yeah, certainly. You can tell that they're teammates, that they train together because they're always bunched together in results as well. Alexei is a bit better of a downhill skier, whereas Alaviev is much better in slalom.
Incoming right now, our second Alexander. The Russians on the line. Vetrov's time, 1:31.25.
Currently putting him into second position. So currently Russia is 1, 2, 3 with Bugaev, Vetrov, and Alaviev. Next up will be Adam Hall. Adam's just started to do downhill again, but he's definitely one to watch. He was 5th and 6th, I believe, in both the training runs. So let's see what Adam can do. And Thomas Phil just made his way down, so those from Switzerland, not to worry. So Adam is an LW1, which means both of his legs are affected just above the knee. So you can see that his skis are actually a little tied together in the tip. So he's looking a little bit different with the two outriggers, but Adam's having a good run right now.
Skiing some very clean turns through that section. Very clean turns. I had just asked Matt Hallett about if there was any way to simplify the different designations that each one of the athletes has. And it's a little bit tricky. Oh! Adam putting the brakes on. Adam, are you okay? He's going to think about things for just a second there. I think he hooked the outrigger on the second to last gate.
So you'll see there on the video, they had that big yellow flag out for Mitch. So because where Adam is, it's no longer safe for Mitch to continue. And so what will happen is he'll go back up to the top and he'll get a rerun.
All right, let's shut him out, everybody. That was a tough one for New Zealand's Adam Hall. He'll be taking that outrigger in for repairs by the looks of it.
So while Mitchell Gourley's going to head back up and get for his rerun, next up will be Cédric Amafoy-Boissat from France, followed by his teammate Romain Ribou.
Pretty fun. Matt and I are going over the names of the various athletes from the various nations, and there's some interesting ones. French guys have got some really shishi names, and we're being corrected.
Yeah, I'm getting my French pronunciation right.
So we do still have a course hold while we're finishing off on repairs to the second to last gate. Things appear to be okay. We'll get the all clear, and we will send our next racer.
Next in the gate, looks like Cédric's getting ready to go. Adam looks like he's doing all right in the finish line after that little crash. Cédric Amofoy-Boursa is on course from France. It's good to get a look at the top few turns now. This downhill starts off right away. The first 4 turns are very demanding. And sometimes with the interval in the TV, you don't get to see that. So.
And Matt, I think I was talking to you a few days ago during training, and you were mentioning that the transition coming through from roller coaster onto Skyline, there is a huge, huge push that's taking you to the left where the turn is actually moving you to the right. A lot of pressure on the skier, a lot of pressure on your legs.
Yeah, it's an incredible amount of force, and you really got to be committed to it. The snow is so good, though, that it makes it a little better, but it just increases the speed. So Cédric looked like he's going well through the triple and over basketball.
Pretty tight line through that series of gates. He should be coming at us right now. Just coming into view now. From France, Cédric Amofoy-Boursa.
Let's go, Ced.
À l'arrivée, Cédric. Le temps pour Amofoy-Boursa, 1 minute 34 secondes, point 70.
I think that puts Cédric into about 6th position. Next on course, also from France, Romain Ribou.
Ouais, faisait du bruit. Big happy family here. We got the Austrians cheering for the French cheering for the Austrian. It's crazy. We're all race fans here.
Romain looks to be carrying some good speed down here in the bottom. Come on, Romain.
Clean turns the bottom series across the finish line. The time for Romain Ribou, 1:31.80.
131.8 puts Romain currently in 3rd position. Current standings: in 3rd position from France, Romain Ribou. 2nd position from Russia, Alexander Vetrov. And in the lead, Alexei Bugaev from Russia. Next on course is Gakuta Kauke from Japan, followed by Matthias Lanzinger from Austria and Braden Luscombe from Canada.
It's just incredible the speed that the skiers are carrying right from the hop as they come out of the start gate. Very, very steep launch. And 4 fast, high-speed turns, as you mentioned a little earlier on, Matt. These guys are going.
Coming into the finish.
From Japan, Koke. Gakuta's time, 1:33.58.
That puts Kakuta in about 5th position right now.
From Austria, on course, Matthias Lanziger.
Matthias is definitely one to watch. He won yesterday's training run. It looks like he's carrying great speed coming down into the basketball. Fan club all the way from Austria to cheer on Matthias and Marcus. Good flight for Matthias.
Staying nice and clean on the edge.
This is going to be tight.
Watching Lanzinger grabbing the chuck onto the finish line. The
Across
time
the
for
line.
Austria's Lanzinger.
There we go.
1:29.71.
Currently puts Matthias into 2nd position. Great run from Matthias.
You knew he had something going on there. He was really cruising.
He had some great speed now. But next up, from Canada, Braden Luscombe.
Yeah, Canada, we got to make some noise for the Canadian boys. Here he comes. Luscombe skiing strong all season long. Very familiar with the line here and the snow conditions. National team kind of makes this their second home, don't they, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. We have been here many, many times, usually early in the season in November, but we feel very comfortable on this hill. Braden's looking pretty clean down here. Out of the shadows into the last 3 gates. Come on, Braden.
From Canada, 2 gates from the finish, Braden Luscombe. A 1:34.94 for Braden.
I can tell you as another one-legged man that is a very difficult downhill and that was a great run for Braden. You should be very happy with that.
Way to go, Braden.
Next on course for the United States of America, Ralph Green.
Okay, Ralph is rocking here. Check this out.
Taking out plastic on his way down.
Looking smooth, a little flight. Wow, getting right inside on those gate panels.
This is the time when their legs are really, really burning. It's a mental game at this point to just keep it going. Come on, guys, bring Ralph home.
In the house, we got Ralph Green from the United States. His time for today's downhill, 1:39.17.
There will be 4 competitors remaining in the men's standing class. Hiraku Mizawa from Japan, Martin France from Slovakia, and Thomas Mulder. But before Thomas goes, Mitchell Gorley will have to go. So he got flagged. He's going to be on his way back up if he's not there already. And so before the last standing man, you'll see Mitch. Haraku looks like he's keeping it pretty clean.
What length ski these guys using, Matt?
These guys are probably using somewhere between a 205 and a 215. They're about 40-meter radius turn.
So you could pretty much eat a sandwich in the length of time it takes you to make a turn.
I wouldn't recommend it. It goes pretty fast.
Hirakuo crossing the finish line for Japan. 1:35.15. Yeah, 40-meter radius, that's a huge, huge turn. But the trade-off is that the ski is extremely stable. And once you get it arced up, it'll go forever.
So with just 3 to go, we have Martin France on course. And the leaderboard is still Alexander Veterov from Russia in third, Matthias Lanzinger from Austria in second, and Alexei Bugaev, also from Russia, still currently in the lead.
Slovakian Martin France on course right now. So we're reasonably certain that Mitch Gorley will be going second to last. Our final skier in the men's standing competition will be Thomas Mulder. In the meantime, Martin France from Slovakia, 1:35.07 seconds.
And I can tell you that the times are much tighter today than they were in training. Everybody has picked up their game, and it looks like everything's holding out amazing. So next on course is Thomas Mulder from the Netherlands, making his way over basketball.
So they switched up the last two skiers. We thought that Mitch Gorley was going to go second to last, but it appears he will be going last. Thomas Mulder from the Netherlands on course.
Thomas has made huge improvements in the last few years. He spent a lot of time and effort, and it's definitely paying off in his skiing.
As we mentioned, coming from the Netherlands, it's not a huge alpine nation. So great to see a little representation from that country. Looks like he's got a pretty good run going, Matt.
Looking good. Good save, Thomas, good save.
He used every inch of that finish belly. Okay, our final skier. Australia's Mitch Gorley. Remember, Mitch was flagged a little earlier on, so that required he get back on the lift. And we need to give him a couple of minutes, maybe get his tech to take a look at the ski, make sure that the edges are still nice and sharp. You want that thing tweaked for your race run.
And Mitch will be given the time that he needs to get ready. They might spend a little bit of time on his skis because obviously they wore a little bit of wax off because he started his run already. So he'll get what he needs to be prepared and to give this his best chance. I can assure you that the three guys on the podium right now are not totally comfortable, that Mitch is definitely a skier to watch and could bump any one of them.
Yeah, and I'd have to say, other than the fact that he's gone through his start prep and timing and everything else for the original start number, he'll have to go through his start sequence again, get his head around it. But I think the track is in perfect shape. I don't think there's been any change with the skiers that have gone through. Certainly watching the television feed, we're not seeing any evidence of chattering. There's no holes in the course.
I think that's going to be great too for as soon as Mitch is done for the sitting men. It's really good conditions for them. They're going to put on a good show for sure.
We got some beautiful course conditions up there. Beautiful day. For those of you folks that are planning on making some turns a little bit later on, I urge you to head up onto the upper part of the mountain here at Panorama. We did receive a couple of centimeters of fresh snow over the last few days, and the weather was actually out of the east, which is very unusual for this region. So some pockets that don't normally get snow deposited in them have some fresh snow. So I would urge you to get up there and check it out. Extreme Dream Zone, down on Stumbach perhaps, and there was evidence of some pretty good stuff over in Tainton Bowl as well.
It's been such a crazy winter here, hasn't it, Drew? The East Coast is just getting pounded with snowstorms, and the West Coast, the flowers are out, and you know, everything's in bloom.
Yeah, there was even evidence I noticed at Grouse Mountain. The bear cam was showing that the bears were starting to stir, which is really early.
Yeah, hopefully for the spectators, we don't see any of that here today. I think it's cold enough, though. We'll be okay.
Yeah, I checked my thermometer this morning. It was about minus 15 Celsius. I don't think, if I was a bear, I wouldn't be getting up.
No, it was hard for me to get out of bed this morning, that's for sure. Okay, we've just heard that Mitchell Gorley is in the gate and he will be going on the next interval.
So Matt, maybe you can explain to the folks what an interval is.
Yeah, so there's a timer in the start gate, and basically every minute and 15 seconds a racer goes, unless there's some sort of delay on course. So that's why you're not seeing the whole track on TV, is because the racer has started by time the person in front of them is just crossing the finish line.
So because everything's sequenced off the start clock, they have to wait for the next cycle to come through. And that's when Mitch Gourley will get the green light to start his downhill run. He's had an opportunity to race test the top section this time, so I wonder if that's a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, we'll see. He definitely get a bit of a head start in the front there. It'll slow his skis down maybe a little bit, so we'll see how it plays out. His time to beat will be 1:31.25 to crack the podium. Looks like Mitch is in the start gate. Mitch is on course. Looking good out of the start.
Here comes Mitch Gourley. Ooh, using it all there.
Looks like Mitch lost a ski in the compression there.
He did. That's too bad.
That's unfortunate for Mitch, but that makes our podium. Finishing in third from Russia, Alexander Vetrov. In second from Austria, Matthias Lanzinger. And our winner today in the men's standing category, Alexei Bugaev from Russia.
Congratulations to all those gentlemen in the standing category. We'll have those top three skiers at the official awards ceremony. That happens at 3:30 this afternoon, just down in front of the Day Lodge. All right, one more category to go. We've got men's sitting. As Matt has been mentioning, this is perfect conditions to race a sit ski.
Yeah, and I think just like men's standing, you're going to see one of the favorites, Roman Rabel from Austria, right off the bat, number one. And it won't be over till it's over, because you have Taiki Mori, Cyril More, and CDY going in the last three. For Canada, we have Kurt Oatway going with bib number 50, who's had some great training runs this week. So I'm excited to see Kurt run.
Yeah, so don't go anywhere. We have got some hot race action in the sitting category coming your way.
So about a 3-minute delay, two intervals between categories.
So, folks, we get to do this all over again tomorrow. We've got Super G, a hybrid event, modified between downhill and giant slalom. Start will be slightly lower than we had for the downhill today. A couple more turns will be added to the mix. Skiers will be using equipment with a slightly shorter radius. Matt was saying that they were running 40-meter skis here. Probably down. What's the Super G cut? How many meters in the radius?
I actually use the same skis. So I use 40-meter radiuses for downhill and for Super G. Some guys will be on 45-meter radius today, but I think you'd see most people taking the skis from today and moving them over to tomorrow. It is quite a turny downhill with some big sweepers, so skis should work great tomorrow.
Make a little noise for Australia's Mitch Gurley. He had some tough luck up there losing his ski. Yeah, if you don't have a full load on that ski coming into a compression, that loads and then unloads very quickly, and the binding misreads the message that's being sent to it, and it just pops right off. You saw that when Mitch came across, he was standing there going, something's missing.
Yeah, I think that shows some incredible athleticism, though. He kept it upright. He kept balancing on one ski going, 90, 100 kilometers an hour. So good on him to keep it upright. All right, first male sitting on course, Roman Ravel from Austria.
Roman Ravel will be followed by Jasmine Bambour from the United States. Switzerland's Christoph Kunz will be starting third in this division. New Zealand's Corey Peters, fourth. From the United States, Andrew Earl Kurka. Jörg Kreider from Germany will be next, and Takeshi Suzuki. That will be our first grouping of racers in the men's sitting category. For the downhill today, for the IPC World Championships, right here at Panorama Resort.
Ravel looking really good right out of the start. Austria is definitely known as the best ski nation, or one of the best ski nations in the world. Very proud. And he will be taking lots of chances coming down here to go for the win.
All right, he's on.
Hanging on, carrying lots of speed, looking good.
For those of you that haven't taken a close look at a sit ski, there's a suspension system in between the bottom of the seat and the ski. It's like a coil-over shock. So the athletes actually have to manage that ski as it bounces up and down and maintain that clean arcing ski as well.
Pretty good flight there from Ravel coming down into the finish. Austrian fan clubs cheering him home.
Roman Ravel from Austria on the line. 1:28.80 for Austria's Roman Ravel.
That's a great start. That's setting the benchmark for the rest of the field. That is going to be a tough time. Next up from the United States of America, Yasmin Bamber.
Hi, everybody at home. Whew. It was fantastic, yeah. Great weather, great conditions. Thank you.
Looks like Yasmin had some tough turn there around where Thomas Phil and Mitchell Gorley had the same troubles.
So, Matt, there's a compression in there, is there not?
Yeah, there's actually 3-4 really big turns going in, so your legs are feeling it, and then the speed is quite high, and there's a good compression. So the combination of all of those things, if you're not right on it, is very challenging.
So Yasmin laying down the sit ski, drifting in on his side into the net, and you can see that red B netting doing its job one more time.
My eyes are closed.
So right away when we get going here, you're going to see 4 or 5 guys right away that are really going to give it a go. From Switzerland, Christoph Kunz. From New Zealand, Corey Peters. And from the United States of America, Andrew Kirka.
Again, folks, it'll take a couple of minutes for them to get Yasmin upright, make sure he's doing all right, and then effect the necessary repairs to the protective netting that we have on the side of the course. Interesting, that seems to be the place. A lot of speed and just enough of a change in terrain to maybe throw them offline or out of balance.
Yeah, and I think on race day, you probably given it a little bit more, and maybe the guys are carrying a little bit more speed in there than they were in training, and it's just catching up with them a little bit.
So television showing that there's a 10-minute hold on the course. We don't think it'll be quite that long.
Important to note for all those watching at home today that those that did go down are all safe and down here in the finish line as well.
Yeah, it's a testament to the course prep and the safety that is running down the sides of the course when the athletes go off, as long as they're not getting spun or twisted. If it's just, as you mentioned, dropping a hip in, they're sliding on their side. There'll be some bruising for sure, but you can usually see them pop back up and make it to the finish line on their own power. Racing Super G tomorrow, 11 o'clock start. I'm going to switch co-commentators. Matt Hallett, who's helping me out today, doing a fantastic job, is actually going to go ski racing tomorrow. And Matt's going to represent Canada. And we'll have former team member Josh Duick up here doing some color stuff. Josh is down in the media center right now on a big Twitter feed and helping out with the CBC live streaming.
Pretty amazing, Drew, to have the live stream. I think this is the first event outside of the Paralympics that has ever had it. So exciting for all those fans all over the world to be able to support their favorite skiers.
No kidding. You know, it's an awesome opportunity for the world to see what's happening. Showcase not only Panorama Resort, but what our race organizing committee can put together, and all these great athletes participating at their world championships.
A big shout out to all the international friends and family and fans that made the trek all the way out here to Panorama. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, you guys are no strangers to that international air travel, dealing with a little bit of time change and the like, so welcome to North America.
TV's letting us know 5 more minute delay.
I just mentioned that we've got Super G racing tomorrow, 11 o'clock start. And then Friday is a weather day. They built 2 weather days into the World Championships. So that'll give the athletes and coaching staff and everybody a chance to maybe do some laundry.
Give these volunteers that have been here for well over a week a well-deserved break, too.
Then we'll be right back at it in a big way on Saturday the 7th with the Super Combine. Super G in the morning at 10:30, and then a 1:30 start for the slalom. Then Sunday's GS right here on the old-timer slope at Panorama. Another break on Monday the 9th, and we wrap things up with slalom on Tuesday. 2-run event, as is the giant slalom. And then the final awards banquet goes on Tuesday evening.
Looks like they're getting ready with Christoph Kumpf from Switzerland up in the start gate. Here we go, Christoph Kumpf out of the start gate. See if he can get right into it on these first tough turns. That was nice and clean, carrying good speed out of the start pitch. You don't see a couple turns there in the middle. There are a couple of side hills, one big right footer and a big left footer, and then they come out right where you see them.
Running some pretty big speed through here. Still having to negotiate not only the terrain, but the sun has moved a little bit to the west right now, and we're starting to see some shadows over on the west edge of the track.
Maybe you saw it right there playing, Christoph sliding out. Just heading into the trees there. You might be interesting to see how that plays out as we go here.
Yeah, I'm sure you folks have all experienced coming out of the bright sunlight into indoors and having trouble picking up whether there's stairs in front of you or whether it's flat. So these skiers coming in very, very fast really doesn't give their eyes an opportunity to adjust from that brilliant sunshine into the shadows over on the left-hand side of the course.
Yeah, and because it's going in and out, you really just have to trust your inspection, trust your training runs, and go at it with the best that you can.
Yeah, that's a good point, Matt. 2 training runs. The course does not change. The set of the course does not change from the start of the first day of training. So the snow conditions might, the lighting might, the temperature might, but the actual set stays the same. So they can actually inspect, get a training run, and have a chance to side slip through the course on several different occasions and ideally memorize the line.
Sunshine.
Probably higher up. The part that I was on, I can handle it. So therefore, you know. No. Above my boundary. No, I
There we can see Yasmin there. It's good to see he's upright and looking healthy.
So the course grabbing a couple of skiers. 2 different spots, as a matter of fact. That's kind of interesting. We were talking just previously that compression seemed to be catching most of the athletes as they came across after a series of big high-speed turns. Quint's going out in the shadows over on the left-hand side.
Bamber coming into the finish line.
Yasmin would have been just waiting off the side, waiting for a course clear for him to be able to get in and get down.
I can see Christoph up there now as well, moving around. Thanks to the TV guys for showing all those friends and family watching at home that these guys are doing just fine. The next two guys, Corey Peters and Andrew Kirk, have really been duking it out in training runs with Roman and the Japanese. So excited to see what they can put down.
So they just moved Kunz off to the side. They've held him, which tells me that we should be pretty close to starting our next skier.
Looked like Corey was in the start gate. Just got the word from the radio that Corey is on course. Here he comes out by tower 4. Corey is carrying some speed.
Nice little flight there. You can see the suspension system on that sit ski working just perfectly. Corey coming through over towards basketball, making the turn onto the old-timer run here at Panorama. Really smooth turns. We'll see if there's any shaded areas. I think the course set down this lower part of the run is over on the sunny side of the track.
Great flight for Corey there. Stuck the landing.
Here he comes. Corey's in the sun for the remainder of his run on the way down. Let's bring him home. Corey Peters from New Zealand.
128.06 puts Corey into the lead. 75 hundredths ahead of Roman Rabel from Austria.
That's great racing. Really close between those two.
Nice run, Corey. Next up from the United States, Andrew Kirka.
I think Andrew's only been competing for the last couple of years. I remember seeing him here at the World Cup Finals. Really ripping it apart to the point where he became separated from his ski.
Yeah, Andrew's a fearless guy. He's going to take some chances down here. And I look to see a big flight in this next turn here.
So we got
Here
that
comes-
one shaded section. Andrew seemed to handle that without any difficulties. Coming back into the last couple of turns in the sunshine from the United States, Andrew Kirka. 130.78.
Puts Kirka into third position currently behind Corey Peters and Roman Rabel. Next up from Germany should be George Kreider.
Oh, it was.
So
It was a good
Austria,
race.
New Zealand,
it was nice and fast. I was
USA.
everywhere that I
1,
wanted
2,
to be,
3
where I
so
wanted to be
far.
there, but
We
it
got
was,
lots
a
more
little
ski
icy,
race
so
action
fast,
coming at
so
you.
much fun. So much fun.
So that's a big long turn that brings the skiers around underneath the load station of the Champagne Chair over on Old Timer. Awesome set. Of course, set by Canada's Jean-Sébastien Lebris, part of Team Canada's coaching staff.
So you notice a little bit different style from George, a little bit different sit ski. He's an LW10, so he's very high paralysis compared to the first few guys that came down.
And he's going fast right down here, boys and girls. Let's give it up for George Kreider from Germany, 130.89.
Putting George into fourth place. Next up from Japan, Takeshi Suzuki.
.330 this afternoon for awards right in front of the Day Lodge. We'd love to have you come and join us there. We will be recognizing the top 3 in each one of our categories, men's and ladies. Takeshi Suzuki currently on course from Japan.
Takeshi is always looking super smooth. Look for Takeshi to really go hard later in the week in slalom.
It's great to see these athletes and how many events they're actually competing in over the course of the week. The time for Takeshi Suzuki, 131.87.
Putting Takeshi into fifth position. Next up, also from Japan, Akira Kano. And coming after that, from Canada, Kurt Ooe.
All right, we're racing now. Akira Kano from Japan.
Drew, the live feed is obviously working because I'm getting phone calls constantly from people hearing my voice.
All right. Technology is an amazing thing and it works. And the other times, maybe not so much. We got a great feed happening here. We got a great race happening here. Fantastic conditions at Panorama Resort for this year's 2015 edition of the IPC World Championships.
Kano carrying some great speed down here.
He is
It's gonna be
rocking.
tight.
This is the third of 3 different categories. Sorry, Matt. Kano in with a finish time of 1:30.84. Once again, I want to thank Mac Hallett for coming in and adding some color commentary and expertise to today's event. He'll be racing Super G tomorrow. We're going to get Josh Jewett out of the media lounge and out here live and in living color for you tomorrow. He'll be doing the color on the Super G.
Let's see what Irway can do down here. We've been down this part of the track so many times.
Now, Kurt, very familiar with that.
Rip down here.
Kurt knowing that move coming across basketball onto old timer. National team trains on this, is both speed and giant slalom and slalom regularly over the course of the season. So I see if Kurt can drop the hammer and bring home the money. Oh! He just sketched coming out of the sun into that shade. Really had to throw it sideways. That's an amazing recovery.
Time for Kurt Otway, 132.74.
Kurt, you okay? Kurt, you okay?
Putting Kurt currently in 7th position.
Kurt had a really fast one going there. You saw him get a little bit sideways. 4 gates from the finish. That sun into shade can sometimes be a little bit of an issue. Also, we have been telling you just how hard the surface is on this racetrack. Got a little bit inside, lost some speed, and then was going for it this last couple of turns coming into the finish line. Frédéric Francois from France.
That was bang on. Frédéric coming into the finish.
Okay, we'll see what the finish time is for France's Frédéric Francois. A 1:30.18.
1:30.18 currently puts Frédéric into 3rd position. Next on course from the United States of America, Christopher Devlin Young. None of these guys are too comfortable down here in the finish with CDY, Taiki Mori, and Cyril More still to come.
So Matt, is Devlin a little happier in the speed events, or does he prefer tech?
CDY is definitely a downhill skier. He loves skiing downhill. I think it's for sure his favorite event. So I look to see him take some big chances, and he is definitely a contender.
Devlin Young going down up high on the track. As Matt was saying, one of the favorites in this particular discipline.
CDY there, you can see him making his way down. So next on course from Japan, Taiki More.
Chris just dropped the bucket down on its side, losing that edge and drifting outside the course.
It's hard to tell on TV, but the speed really picks up right away. So even in those second, third, fourth turns, you're really carrying a lot. And if you're not out of the start gate prepared for it, it can catch up to you.
Yeah, you're easily up around 80 kilometers an hour within 2 turns.
So current leaderboard, in third, Frédéric Francois. In second place, from Austria, Roman Larabo. And currently in the lead from New Zealand, Corey Peters.
One of the contenders for sure, as Matt Hallett just alluded to a moment ago, Taki Mori from Japan on course right now. Mori has competed on this course at Panorama for several years now, so he will be quite familiar with the line.
Looks like Taiki's on course, coming down through the triple and then into basketball. Very clean coming down into the jump.
Nice flight, managed to control that beautifully. He'll be coming into view in just a second live.
You start to see the shadows really come into play in there, lots of terrain. That was an aggressive line. He's definitely going for it down here at the bottom.
He is right on these panels the last couple of turns from Japan. Let's give it up for Taki Mori. Wow. 1:29.26.
Taiki into third position.
Taiki having one of the tighter lines the last half a dozen turns as he approached the finish.
Yeah, not much difference between Taiki and fourth, Frédéric Francois, so definitely taking some chances down there in the bottom, seemed to pay off.
Our next competitor on course from France will be Cyril Moore. Okay, so that was Cyril coming through that long, sweeping, right directional turn, bringing him from the top of Fritz's run underneath the Champagne chairlift load onto Old Timer. And we see him now as he negotiates the last half dozen or so turns on this IPC World Championship downhill course at Panorama. Into the shadows. As Matt said, they're beginning to creep into the race line. Just making it a little tougher to pick up the terrain. Final few meters to the finish line. France's Cyril Moore. 1:36.92.
Just 3 guys left, Drew. Kenji Natsume from Japan, Thomas Nolte from Germany, and Joshua Ellett from the United States.
That's tough today. Good one.
Japanese skier already on course, Matt. You can see him. Great TV shots. You see him drifting a little bit outside the blue, but that's okay. You do not have to stay inside those blue lines. They're just there to help with definition. Over basketball. And he's laid it inside. Going real fast.
Yeah, tough turn there. It's a big side hill kind of falling away.
Yep.
And if you just cheat a little bit, that's what can happen.
Yeah, you see him right there just trying to get a bit greedy. cut the line off and maybe just moved inside quickly in an effort to get fresh direction and dropped off the edge onto the side of the sit ski.
Two competitors remaining. From Germany, Thomas Nolte and Joshua Elliott. Still the current standings. Unofficially in third position, Taiki Mori. In second position, Roman Rabel. And in the lead, Corey Peters. Looks like Thomas is getting ready up there in the start gate.
Germany's Thomas Nolte in the start, on course.
Track is still looking really good up top, still in the sunshine.
I don't know if it's quite warm enough to actually get a glaze on the track, but
Still a little nippy out here in Panorama,
Yeah.
but beautiful day.
you were talking about it before, just how wacky this winter has been with regards to weather. A week or so ago, we would have been worried about it being too warm. This is just perfect race conditions. I want to send a huge shout out one more time to the volunteers, course workers that have put this track together. And also the CAT crew from Panorama Resort for the time they put in on the race line over the last week.
Tom's getting bumped around in the triple there a little bit, but really taking some chances. He's going for it.
You just see how the lighting starts to change as they move down off that upper part of the mountain. Down here, in and out of the shadows, and that's where the changes, those little subtle changes in terrain start to become a real factor. Here comes
Come on, guys,
Germany's
bring 'em home.
Thomas Nolte. Straight line into the finish line. His time for the downhill today, 1 minute 30.06 seconds.
I believe unofficially that'll put Thomas into fourth position. Great run from him. Last man on course, Josh Elliott from the United States.
Picking Josh up on the television feed a couple of seconds into his run. That little bit of gap in the feet, as Matt talked about earlier on. Straight at us. This is where it's really fast. Elliott holding a nice high line, going over basketball. Being able to dive down off that side hill, giving him a little bit of extra speed. Out of this shaded area, back into the sunshine. Final skier of today's downhill 2015 IPC World Championships from the U.S., Joshua Elliott.
Josh with a time of 1:37.42. And I believe, Drew, that's 6 different categories, and that'll be 6 different nations winning today. So we'll get to hear 6 different national anthems down at the bottom.
Once again, thanks so much, Matt Hallett, for getting on the other microphone and lending your expertise to it. We're going to put you to work on a ski tomorrow, though. We're going to make you go fast in the Super G, representing Canada. I want to thank you all very much for joining us here at the finish line, cheering on our athletes as they race for gold in the downhill portion of this year's IPC World Championships. Don't forget, prize and awards going at 3:30 this afternoon right in front of the Day Lodge. And we'll be back at you tomorrow morning with the Super Giant Slalom.